Yes, people, and welcome back to the Be First podcast. Today's guest, we got professional boxer Shannon Ryan. How are you, Shannon?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm all good. Thank you. Thanks for coming on, taking time out of your busy schedule, because we know you're in camp at the moment, up and coming. So we really appreciate you coming down. So you're a professional boxer. Obviously, before that, there's an amateur background, and there's another combat sport in there, which we'll get onto. So you can take us back to the start, where you grew up and how you got into the sport that you love.
Yeah, so I grew up in Watford, been there 28 years, all my life. And I started martial arts, which was the kickboxing to begin with, when I was 5 years old. And till this day, I've always said I had no choice, and I was brought up into it because my dad has always he's done taekwondo. And then when I was born, he had a kickboxing gym and went from there. So yeah, kickboxing since the age of 5 up until about 19. But the kickboxing style that I'd done was a bit like tag, but it's a bit more like sport karate. So it's like in, out. There was no, you couldn't knock anyone out. You had to pull your punches back. Okay. Very disciplined as well. You go for like a belt system, and it was really fun because it was how quick can you get that point? How quick can you get in and out? And we travelled every weekend, whether it was in the UK, Europe, or like around the world. Made so many friends. But the issue with that sport was there was nothing beyond that. There was no Olympics, there's no money, and they're still trying to push for that now. So obviously I was getting older, and a lot of the top talent in the kickboxing, they were all going over to, well, Michael Page, he went to MMA and now the UFC. Then there was others that went into the GB Taekwondo, and I thought, well, if they're doing that, training for, at the time was Tokyo Olympics, I was like, I'm as good as them, if not better. How can I get to that point? And I just sat down with my dad and just said, I need to make a change because I want to make a career from what I've done all my life. And that's when I trialled out for the GB Taekwondo. But at the same time, I went to university for 1 week because I didn't know if I'd get accepted. Yeah. So I went to Freshers for 1 week, and then I got accepted on the GB Taekwondo team. So I left uni, great Freshers week, and then moved up to Manchester. And I was there for about 9 months, and it was just a system that I didn't enjoy. I didn't enjoy the sport itself. It was just constant kicking. It was 3 times a day, and they kind of didn't ease you into, I was training twice a week in kickboxing, and they just jumped you straight into Monday to Friday, 3 times a day. So that took a toll on my body in the 9 months. And the fact that I also had to get to 46 kilograms was tough on me as I was getting older as well. So I got released from there, and that's when I realised I needed a job. And that's when I started working for O2. Big up O2. Yeah. Great partnership there. But that's when I started working at O2 as a Christmas temp. And that's when I started boxing in 2018, because again, I sat down with my dad and I said, the next sport I go into, I need to give it my all, and that's the one I'm not doing anymore. And yeah, so I started boxing at Finchley ABC in August 2018 as an amateur. Had 10 fights there, well, 7 fights, I believe, or 6. And then I moved to Neasden IQ because Finchley at the time was in the Alliance. And Neasden, the IQ gym, was England boxing. So I had 3 or 4 fights there, and then turned professional in March 2022.
So some start then.
Yeah.
Some start. So what made you sit down with your dad that day of coming out of the sport that you were in? Why boxing? What?
I think at the time, female boxing was on the rise. If I remember correctly, like there was a lot more girls getting involved. And I looked at MMA and I just thought, for me, that's just way too brutal. Yeah. Especially going from a sport where you had to tap and you couldn't knock them out, or you get disqualified if you hurt somebody. And then I just looked at the others, like MMA. I wasn't interested in judo or any other combat sports. I just wasn't interested in, apart from I can give boxing a go and I think I'd be good at that, because although I loved kicking, I was also good at punching as well. So it was just taking that decision of eliminating something.
And sort of your style within the sport that you did, is, well, amateur boxing certainly is tap sort of in out scoring points, sort of thing. So did you think as well that my style and the sport that I've done is better suited?
Of course, but
that?
I think when I did start amateur boxing, I didn't like it.
Okay.
I just how they work it, I just couldn't grasp it, and it just wasn't fitting with myself, because my coach at the time would also teach us the pro style. So I think once I then saw the pro style, I then fell in love with that, and then I think that kind of suited me a lot better than the amateurs.
Do you think that was because of maybe your experience that you've had? I'm guessing from 5 years old to 19, you would have had a hell of a lot of experience and bouts within the sport that you'd done. So yeah, do you think it was sort of straight off the bat of, yeah, that's not for me? Yeah,
I just think it was a whole new sport that I had to learn.
Yeah.
And it was just what I was taken to. When I do something, I've got to love it. I've got to have that, I want to do that again, I want to do that again. And just the amateurs, I did it again because I knew that the end goal was to go pro.
Yeah. So what was it you didn't like about it at first? You said you didn't like it.
As in amateur boxing, it's just bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And then it's like, take a step back, and then you just go again. But I also think females box a lot different to the men as well. The men, even in the amateurs, I think just take their time a little bit more. Then in the female fights, it's just a million miles per hour. But I like to take my time, set up shots, and think about what's going on.
Yeah, and I sort of think that's sort of what boxing is, but the amateurs have sort of created this way of doing things of, like you said, bang, 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 when it should be slow, controlled, showing the skill sort of thing. So I think someone mentioned before about how they score bouts in Sweden. I think in Sweden they score it on your skill, your footwork, defence, attack, all stuff like that. And I don't have a problem with that. I think there's quite a good way to sort of do it. Yeah. Along with point scoring as well, a shot's got to land as well. But yeah, the amateurs has sort of created
it's just a bit
that
different,
fast sort of pace. Yeah. So being a female, certainly down at Finchley, was there many females in there at the time that you could sort of spar with or anything like that?
No. There was a couple, but they were a lot bigger than me.
Yeah.
I did get in the ring with Sean Murphy, so I had the privilege to get in the ring with Sean. But yeah, it would just be like some of the boys or like other girls would come down. But in the gym itself, the few that were there were bigger than me. So
yeah. So 2018, Finchley, was AJ there? You bumped into him?
Sometimes he'd come in the day, because I would go in the day sometimes with my coach and do like one-on-one.
Yeah.
So he would come down sometimes, see him briefly. But yeah, he obviously wasn't there in the evenings.
Oh, so he was a pro by then?
Yeah.
He was a pro by 2018? I thought it was a lot later. It couldn't have been. Yeah, couldn't have been. That shows how quick time goes,
for sure.
I wonder what it's like for him, but yeah, certainly for me, it's flown by. So you had your first bout as an amateur. What was that like? And compare it to your first bout in.
Yeah, the amateur one that I had is crazy because obviously now as a pro, I've got a nutritionist. You watch your weight and you do everything properly. You fuel yourself. And back then I was so nervous. I think I boxed on literally like a flapjack, literally just a flapjack. But yeah, it was a far. The bout was it was quite far. I think we had to drive 3 hours away. I think the person that I sparred must have been much older, must have been 35, 40. And I got in there and I think the first round I sat down and I was like, what is this? I won the fight, but it was it was 3 rounds, 3 minutes, a million miles per hour.
Yeah.
And that for me was a shock to the system. And I didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it one bit. And it's different to my debut because obviously that was 4 rounds, 2 minutes. But again, if I watched both fights back, this one's fast. This one is still fast, but it's completely different. It's a completely different ball game.
Yeah. Well, again, it goes down to like maybe the pro game a little bit. Styles make fights. So, like you said, maybe the person that you were in there with maybe didn't want to go 100 mile an hour. Maybe they wanted to slow it down a little bit. But you obviously, you said at the time you didn't like it, but you obviously went back again and again.
Yeah, and I think that's because I made that promise to myself of this is the last thing. This is the last sport that I give it my all. And I knew that there was a different door after the amateurs, even though I hadn't kind of experienced that yet. It's just when you watch the amateurs and you watch the pros, you can see the difference, in my opinion. So yeah, I knew that there was like another chapter after the amateurs, and that's why I just kind of stuck to it. And just my saying is always like trust the process. So I was just trusting my decision and just trusting that it was all going to work out.
Yeah. So did you win any titles when you amateur career?
Yeah, just the Women's Winter Box Cup.
Was that the one they held in Guildford?
Yes.
Yeah.
2019. So
what was
it was a
that
good win.
like, winning that?
Yeah, it was great. I boxed my flapjack again on that day.
Oh, yeah. So that's your go-to then, flapjack?
Yeah, not anymore.
Not
but I love
anymore,
a flapjack. But yeah, I boxed two girls, Terry Naylor and Laura Payne in the final. But again, that was different because Laura Payne at the time was a name that was like known in the amateurs, and I think she'd done something on GB, and so I was just there in my Neasden vest and just standing there like this shy, timid girl who just felt so new into this space that I just didn't feel at the time that I belonged because it was so new. And then I went in there and I got the decision, and it felt great because it's a major and I've come from a different sport into this new kind of world is how I explain it. And I did really well.
Oh, fantastic. So, well, you said you're coming into new sports. Did anybody sort of, were you welcomed sort of within boxing because of the background that you'd had?
Yeah, I think no one, to my face anyway, has been...
Yeah. Because like you mentioned names there who you beat in that box cup, they probably been boxing for a hell of a lot longer than sort of yourself. Yeah,
so I think I was with Sky Sports to begin with, and now I'm with Matchroom. So I think and obviously signed with 258 Management, which is Anthony Joshua's management company. So I think when people see that, I think it must have been a shock, and it must have been, who is this person? What has she done? And for me, it kind of was like, where I am now, I've worked so hard to get here. And for me, how it's felt is nothing has been the golden ticket, which is what I've heard a few people say. And I can see how it may look like that, but people didn't see the work that I was doing when COVID was happening, or the conversations being had, or me working every single day, which I know everyone else has been doing. But yeah, I just worked hard and knuckled down and got to where I am.
Yeah, and that's credit to you. Like you said, people don't see the hard work that goes in behind. You know, even this building where we're sat, people think that Ken just woke up one day and bang, this was here, but his blood, sweat and tears is in this place, and it took him a hell of a long time to make it what it is.
People don't see that. They don't see like the journey to get to that destination.
No, they don't. They definitely don't. So people, I think, open their eyes a little bit more and hear people's side of the story first before you start, or never judge a book by its cover.
Exactly that.
So you won the Winter Box Cup. What bout number was that? So where did you go on from that?
So then after that, that was 2019. I think I then must have had, because I was with Neasden then, so I must have probably had 3 or 4 more after that to take me to 10. Yeah.
Okay. So in between that, did you hit COVID in between them bouts?
Yes. Because I was meant to do the elites. That's what happened. I was meant to do the elites, and then I think it was a couple of days before the lockdown happened, and we had no decision then of what we was going to do. But then as time was going, we were still training, and then the lockdown got extended again, and then again, and then AJ was going to guide my career as an amateur. And then I think it must have been like November time, I must have messaged and said, let's just go pro. I will work a whole year on working on a pro style in training. And then 2021, September, is when I got my pro license.
Okay.
And then was in talks trying to get on a show, and then had my debut on a Sky Sports boxer show on March 2022.
So let me run you back a little bit. So what was the decision to turn professional? Again, I know you've started off this with you're going to give it your all to the sport, which is fantastic. And I say credit to you, because you already, I know that if you want something, you're going to go and get it. But what was that decision at the time to go, now's the time to flip that switch to pro?
My age.
Your age?
My age. Just not knowing what was going to happen with the lockdowns and COVID, it was still in the unknown. Even when we decided to turn pro, I don't know if, I can't remember if we were still in some sort of lockdown, but it wasn't back normal, if that's the saying, like what to say. So it was more just kind of like, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm in the unknown. I'm getting older. I think my birthday was like the next month to turn 25, maybe. And then, I just made that decision. And again, I feel as well, like every decision that I've made in my boxing career has always been the right one and at the right time. So it was just more about my age and not knowing what was going to be happening. Yeah.
So you said that conversations were had of AJ, Anthony Joshua, guiding your amateur career. How did that come about? Is it how did you come about knowing him? Is it because of the areas you're from?
Where we live, both Watford. I have an elder sister as well. And then my mum's family, they lived kind of in the same area as AJ's family as well. So just kind of like family, and we didn't grow up together, but just where we was, and then grew up and just kept in touch.
That sort of small world sort of thing. Okay. So you get through that difficult period of lockdown, and then you said you worked for a whole year. So you weren't an amateur anymore, but you were in the gym training the pro style.
Yeah.
And then was you working at O2?
I was working at O2 at the same time,
So what was
which
that?
was hard.
Well, I was going to say, what was that?
It was hard because when I started, I was a Christmas temp, and then I got made to a sales advisor full time, and that was 38 hours. And then I got promoted to an assistant manager.
Okay.
So that was hard because you have to open the shop at a certain time, you have to cash up, you've got to close the shop. So it was always that closing part. I couldn't have anything to eat pretty much once I'd closed, because I have to get changed at the shop, drive straight down to the gym. I'd always be half an hour late, and then it would go from there. And it was just a cycle, because the days that you get off I trained obviously Monday to Friday, but I'd be in on weekends. So it's the days off for rest and recovery. I didn't really have that much either, which when I stopped working, I really respect and appreciate the amount of rest and recovery time that you actually need as a full-time athlete.
Yeah, certainly important to let your body, like you said, rest and recover. And again, going back to that story of people don't know the hard work that goes in. People think that you turn over professional, that's it, you've got loads of money, you're made, you go in the gym all the time. Well, no, you were working full-time job as well as balancing the start of your pro career. So again, it's another side that people don't see, and it's certainly a big lesson for our youngsters sort of coming up, that they need to realise that hard work goes into it, nothing's given out for free.
100%. And although I was really good at my job and I loved my job and the people there, my heart was always set on boxing. So I knew that I needed to get out of that job to be able to focus on my career. But I think as well, my mindset and how I am as a person is I gave 100% to boxing, and I also gave 100% to my job, which obviously 5 years into that job led me to being the first individual athlete to be sponsored by O2, which I think that's such a major thing in itself. But if I just lacked focus on my job, I would never have got that. But I gave that 100% and boxing 100% to be where I am now.
and credit to all true next day. Obviously seeing the hard work that you put in, they can also see the commitments and the end goal of what you want. So it's fair play to them, really, to invest sort of
100%. And they believed in me. I hadn't even had a fight.
Yeah, exactly.
And they wanted to come on board. So
that's fair play to them. For rewarding your hard work for them almost, isn't it?
Yeah, great company.
Yes, I'm on all too, so free phone contact. But yeah, they're obviously a massive company, and that was one of my questions I was going to ask you today was, how did you get sponsored by O2? Because obviously it's such a big company, so that makes sense. Yeah,
I think it also goes back to, even when I was young, I would always be, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah.
And it would always be, Dad, have you got £5? Dad, have you got this? Dad, have you got that? And it would always be like, no, 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 or yes, yes, yes. It would always just depend. And I kind of took that with me in life, because it's true, but it's not asking in a demanding way. You have to ask in the right way. And I worked with someone that moved to head office, and I just asked him, can you please try and get me the head of sponsorships email? And then I must have sent, I wish I had it, but I sent like a long, lengthy email, which was a little bit attitudey.
Okay.
And I obviously mentioned about Anthony Joshua, I'm signed, etc., etc. But fair play to the head of sponsorship, and he just said he was interested in me, not who I'm signed to, not this, not that. He wanted to know about me and my story. So we went back and forth on emails, and then we had a video call. So I literally had to finish sparring, jump into a room to jump on a call.
Brush your hair and all that.
Yep. And yeah, I just kind of said my story, and then I then said not just what I would need, not what I would need as an athlete, it's how this can work for me, but also how this can work
for them
and be good for your company and your brand. And I think that also hits a nail on the head, because I think a lot of people go into sponsorship saying, I need this and I need that, whereas I never said that. I just said, this is what I would need to elevate my boxing career. And I was able to stop working, well, sadly, but I was able to stop working and focus on boxing full time, which I think for me, only starting boxing in 2018, O2 sponsoring me, partnering with me, allowed me to double up the speed of my progression.
Yeah.
That's how it felt anyway.
Yeah. And again, I sound like a broken record, but again, people don't see that we need people's kindness and understanding of who we are as people to sometimes give us that sort of push, because like you said, without O2 sort of backing to give you a little kickstart sort of thing, you might not have been as successful at the start. I just want to take you back a little bit if I can. Speak about your dad, because I'm guessing 5 years of age, being a girl, you don't automatically think, right, you're going to do karate or martial arts sort of thing. So I'm guessing your dad came from that background, did he? Or
yeah. So before I was born, so I've got an elder sister. So I've got one that's 40, one that's 29, and I'm 28. So the eldest one, he got her into taekwondo when he was doing taekwondo, and then they moved over to kickboxing, and then the middle one and we done kickboxing. But yeah, that was all through him. He done it before we was even born. And then opened up a gym in 2006, and yeah, it's flying, and he's still doing that now.
Oh, he's still doing it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. So when you said to him, oh, I'm going to go into boxing, what was his? Yeah,
I think it was to be fair, when I said goodbye for the taekwondo, that was a sad time.
It was hard for him, yeah.
But I think because I went from taekwondo without him into boxing, I think that was fine, because we'd already been apart for X amount of years, if that makes sense. But yeah, that first parting was hard, because that's all I know. Like, we've always been kind of brought up into one coach, be loyal to that coach, for example. Like, we couldn't train anywhere else. It was very, like, back then, I think if my dad taught people how he taught us, people wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
It was very like, and I think that's where I get my discipline from now. And my regimentness, whatever the word is.
Yeah.
Through doing that from 5 years old. So again, I take my hat off to my dad, and I'm very thankful and grateful, because if I wasn't brought up that way, I definitely wouldn't be where I am now, 100%.
Yeah, so it's with his sort of upbringing. So, but he's 100% behind it with
Yeah,
that
yeah,
boxing,
yeah.
which
It's
is
nice as well. Like, he comes to sparring every now and then, but he's someone that he doesn't get involved. He allows the coach to do what they've got to do, because he's the same with what he does.
Yeah.
So it is nice to just kind of have my dad and have that support, and just kind of flourish with another coach, and him be my dad.
Yeah. So who is your coach at the moment?
So my coach is Aaron Woodcock, based in St Albans at Intent Boxing Gym.
Okay. And his who's you got in the stable at the moment?
So he's got Ibrahim. He just boxed Diallo. He boxed on the weekend. Shauna Brown. He's got an amateur.
Okay.
Mitchell Smith as well. Yeah.
He's making a comeback.
Yeah.
He could fight him.
Yeah.
He could fight. You don't want to spar him.
No.
Want to spar him.
Well, I say to Mitchell, let's body spar, but he's like, no, I'm joking. No, definitely not.
Yeah. Okay, so I think, and you're going to correct me if I'm wrong, or probably I'm wrong, everything about boxing, I'm usually wrong. I think you're the only pro so far we've had on the podcast whose debut wasn't at York Hall. Yours was at Wembley Arena, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I suppose to you guys, it doesn't sort of matter where you box, certainly early on in your career. So take us back to that night, Wembley Arena, 2022, was it?
2022, yeah.
Your pro debut.
It was again, it was just a surreal, weird, great moment. Because it's like you watch the boxing on the TV, especially when you haven't come from that sport. So it's like you're watching it on the TV, and then suddenly it's your turn to do what they've done on the TV.
Yeah.
And it just was crazy. And obviously in the amateurs, you don't fight with no head guard. So that was the first experience with that as well. But yeah, it was just, I thought it was great. Bit of a malfunction. Something, I don't know where my groin guard was. I had to wear someone else's, and it was like massive. And there was just like all of this. And it's in that moment, it's how do you stay calm and composed with everything going on. The ring walk, the fight itself. Yeah, it was just a magical moment. And then I don't know when I boxed after that, but yeah, for me, it was a debut to remember.
Yeah. So when we had Linus Udofia on the other week, and he was talking about like his professional debut, the amateurs, it's again going back to what you're saying, boom, boom, boom. So he was like, you're in, hand up, out, sandwich, home. And he said like the pros was obviously like a big sort of spectacle, like the camps, the weigh-ins, the press conferences, all stuff like that. Did that affect you at all? Because obviously you were never used to that in taekwondo, boxing.
No, I don't think it did. No. I enjoyed it at the time, and then you just kind of get used to it. To be honest, yeah.
Get used to it. Who was the main bill that night? Can you remember?
I want to say Richard Riakporhe. Yeah, that's because then I was on 2 Sunny cards. No, that was in Matchroom. I think it was Richard Riakporhe, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong.
Have you ever boxed at York Hall?
I did in December.
You did in December?
Yeah.
Because, like I said, it's strange. Usually most pros, they start...
But I quite liked it, to be fair, when I boxed there in December, because when you're first starting out and you are in a bigger arena, you're on quite early on.
Yeah.
So the people that you've got your own tickets there, they're your own people, but it's not full up to the extent of what York Hall is, you know. Yeah. So when I boxed in there in December, it was just a complete different feeling itself.
So you're 10 fights
10 fights in, yeah.
10 fights in. Your December bout, was that your first career loss?
No, it was my first knockout.
Your first knockout?
Yeah, I boxed last June. Against Emma Dolan. Yeah. And that was my first loss, yeah.
Yeah. Are you okay to speak about that?
Of course.
So how was it sort of afterwards? Obviously, I'm sure you might have lost in taekwondo before. Obviously, amateurs,
but very different. I think because boxing is your job. Yeah. It's not a hobby. And it's snakes and ladders. Whereas in kickboxing, you can take a loss and fight tomorrow, if that and go again. Yeah. But yeah, again, it was the emotions were were weird. How long that took was strange. I've never experienced those feelings before, even when I've lost in the other sports, because it's very different. Obviously, I took my first knockdown in the second round. But I think how I handled that and how I come back was terrific. But yeah, the loss itself, I did learn so much about boxing, about myself, my team. It didn't take me too long to kind of get over it, because again, I've instilled into me, just trust the process. This happened for a reason. And now that I'm out of that situation, I can fully see why that happened, and it needed to happen. I think I'm a much better fighter now for it. And I feel like I've done a whole 360. I'm a complete different person in my opinion.
Man, and that's brilliant to hear, because certainly with some young fighters, certainly early on in their career, can sort of give them a big backward step. Certainly with what was on the line that night for you, and
yeah, I think if I'd have won, I would still be where I was. I wouldn't have changed. I wouldn't have done that 360 that I've done, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where the snakes and ladders comes in. I then boxed at York Hall, which was totally fine, against lower level, and then had my first knockout, which was great. Then had another fight back in May. So 2 fights, and now I'm back in the mix, basically.
In the mix, yeah.
But again, I'm grateful for those 2 fights that I had, because I changed my coach to Aaron Woodcock. I've learnt a new boxing system. I've learnt my boxing has got better. I've improved, and those 2 fights allowed me to demonstrate that on them, get clear with what I was doing, what the boxing I'm doing, and yeah, those 2 fights are now taking me into this next fight on October 17th,
which is not far away.
No,
not far away. Just before we touch on the October 17th, going back to that night you first career lost, and this is what I always not sort of harp on about, but in life, that I spoke to John Ryder when we had him on, you know, some of his losses, he's known, he shouldn't be, but he's known for losing to Canelo because of how he lost, because he went out totally on his shields. And I said to him, you know, in life, certainly within your career that you're in, that your losses can define sort of who you are, and it can be greater than the victory sometimes. And that's what it sounds like it's happened to you.
Yeah, I had so much support after, like young girls afterwards coming up to me in like the bar area and just cheering my name and asking for signatures, and just, yeah, the love that I got after that fight was crazy. I didn't think that I didn't have any negativity, but it's like that I saw anyway. And yeah, the girls were just like coming up to me asking for photos, and it was really nice.
When you get home, close that bedroom door as well after that night, does it sort of, does that pressure just come off a little bit, because you've lost your O sort of thing, because there's so much on that, isn't it? Of
and it did feel quite strange, but at the same time, in my mind, I'd got cut in the fight before as well on my head. I wanted
to speak about that, yeah.
And then took a loss and took a knee. So I think after that, I was like, right, I've done it all now. I've been through it all, and I know if anything occurs again, I know what to do. And I think I handled both of them very well for someone that's so new in the game and that it's never happened to before.
No, fantastic. And so, yeah, the fight before, the cut, what was that like? Because it was I can see the is it called abrasion? It's a scar almost, isn't it?
I thought it was kind of gone, to be honest.
Yeah, sorry, it's terrible light.
Weird experience, because again, I think it happened for a reason.
Sorry to interrupt you. Had you ever been cut before?
No, never.
That, no.
And you don't train for it either.
Nah, yeah.
But again, it happened right in the middle.
Yeah.
So the blood come down here. So I feel like I was very lucky in that aspect.
Wasn't above your eye or anything.
So it wasn't really running in my face, or the times that it did, I just naturally knew to kind of hold and wipe. because what else am I going to do? And then again, I just knew that I just sat down on the chair, they wiped the blood, and I just told myself, this is what you need to do, and you need to press forward and throw your hands. Because if I was a judge, what do they want to see? They don't want to see you back off and try and survive. They want to see you, that you're okay and that you're fighting. But again, that was just my own instinct at that time. And then, I won that fight by unanimous decision. And then obviously the fight after that, I lost and got dropped in the second round.
Yeah. And what was that like being down for the first time as well? What did you think in that moment, if anything? Because it's sort of...
I thought, fucking hell. Yeah. I just was like, right, just get up. Because I was, when I did get up, I was genuinely okay at that time. And then again, it was the same kind of, the experience I had with the cut came back to me in that one. And that was like, right, it's a 10-8. You need to get that back. Press forward and stay on the front foot as much as you can. And I feel like I did that, and I only lost on a split decision. Yeah,
because it was certainly close towards the end. Could have gone either way, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So you're 10 professional bouts in now. So next Friday, 11th.
11th, yes.
So already you've learned a lot, done a lot in such a short space of time.
Yeah.
So without giving anything away to the girl you come up against next week, what's sort of your mindset and your goal for that night?
To just enjoy the whole experience. And just kind of, I want to solidify who I am and show myself what I'm capable of. Because it's not about anyone else, anyone watching, that how my mindset might have been before. It's about me and just solidifying who I am in the ring. Yeah.
It's almost like you're not worried about proving people.
Yeah, no, and I think I kind of had that mindset before, because whether it was imposter syndrome or me feeling new to the sport, it was trying to get everything spot on and correct. And I think that was a bit of my downfall, whereas I'd come from a martial arts, everything had to be neat and tidy. And I think I kind of carried that into the sport of boxing in some of my fights as well. Whereas it's not about other people, it's not about... Because I feel like I have proved myself in my comeback fight in December, in the last fight, and I feel like I am getting better and better, and I know that, and my coach knows that, Aaron, and my team know that, so people will see that on the night and moving forward.
And if they don't, fuck them. Pretty much, in layman's terms, as they would say. Well, fantastic. I'm really looking forward to tuning in that night, because our good friend George Liddard, he's heading the bill against Kieran Conway, so it's going to be an action-packed night. So after next Friday, what does the future hold for Shannon Ryan?
So after next Friday, I do believe that 2026 is my year to win a world title. Whether that's in the middle, the end, but I do believe in 2026 I can push on into the world rankings and become a world champion, because that's really what I want to achieve, and I know I can do it, especially with where I am now team-wise with Aaron, how I'm boxing and just how I'm thinking. My mindset now is just, I was full focus before, but I can just see everything now clearer.
Yeah, no, fantastic, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you.
For next Friday, we'll certainly be tuning in.
Thanks.
Some of us will hopefully make our way down, because I know the boys are working hard on your fight kit and things. So, and we wish you more than anything all the best for the future. And I really appreciate you again coming down, taking time out your fight camp.
Thank you for all you guys do for me as well.
No, we really appreciate that. It's our pleasure and privilege. So, Shannon, thanks very much. Take care. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that just as much as I did. Like we just spoke about, tune in next Friday night. Your call. It's going to be a fantastic night of boxing. If you don't already, give us a like and subscribe on YouTube channel. Obviously, give Shannon a follow on his social media page. And as always, give us a nice rating wherever you pick up your Apple podcasts. And tune in next week, another exciting guest. Cheers, guys.